Hi, I'm John Berry. Welcome to CCM Cafe. You know, when I was a kid growing up, I had wonderful parents. My mom was a sweet soul. My dad was a hard-working construction worker. And but he loved my mom and loved me and my brother and my sister. I grew up in a home where I knew my folks loved each other. And but one of the things that was most important to my dad is that he would share his faith with us. And he loved Christ, and he taught us everything he knew how. And about the only thing he really knew to do is every day after dinner, every evening after dinner, we'd have he'd read something from the Bible, and typically it was a book of Proverbs. Most months it got close to 30 days, and Proverbs got 31 chapters, so, you know, kind of fit. And we didn't always understand it, but he just kept pouring into us. And that's the kind of stuff that stays with young people, it stays with kids. It stayed with me. My dad was not a wealthy man, but he was the richest man I ever knew. I knew a man, thought he had it all. 100-foot yacht he loved to show off. He had the whole wide world at his beck and call. Yeah, I knew a man, thought he had it all. But the richest man I ever knew made a living with his hands. He wore a $13 pair of boots, sporting the farmer's tan. Early in the morning, I'd hear him loading up his tools, and in a rusty old Chevy, I'd ride to school with the richest man I ever knew. I knew a man, thought he had it all. Built a big house with a 10-foot wall. Though his friends were mostly bald, he still thought he had it all. But the richest man I ever knew lived behind a picket fence. He met my mom at 22, they could barely pay the rent. After dinner at the diner, he tipped more than he could afford. And on the way back home, I'd sit next to the richest man I ever knew. I knew a man, thought he had it all. Drew his final breath last fall. Well, the nurse didn't quite know who to call for the man who thought he had it all. But the richest man I ever knew filled the old stone church, and the stories that we listened to told what his life was worth. He went to meet his maker in his only Sunday suit on the day that I said goodbye to the richest man I ever knew. Someday again I'll sit next to the richest man I ever knew.